Hello again. There was a time when what went on in our bedrooms, or for that matter, failed to go on, was a purely private matter. We certainly felt no need to advertise the fact if we were unable to get a girlfriend, or perhaps preferred sex without any romantic complications, for example. This is, of course, just an indication of how prudish and repressed we were in the past. My own sex life has been, should we say, a little varied, colourful and unusual in the past, but I've never felt the least inclination to make any public declarations on the subject. This is not at all, of course, in keeping with the spirit of the times. It may well have been the case 50 or 60 years ago that there were unfortunate young men who were unable to hit it off with the opposite sex and acquire girlfriends, but they tended not to shout about this failure to the world at large. These days, of course, they describe themselves as incels and let everybody know that they're not getting it regularly, to use the vernacular of my youth. In the same way, many men used to be less interested in romance than in getting straight down to sex, without any of those tiresome complications involving bunches of flowers, declarations of undying affection, and so on. I'm sure that this is no longer the case generally with all the equality which I read about in the newspapers, but for men who do still feel like that and reject romance in favour of just sexual activity without any of the frills or complications, there exists a sexual identity just for you. And what is more, this is the week to celebrate it. There now, I dare say that some of the men who feel this way have perhaps felt a little ashamed of themselves in the modern world, having no interest in being sensitive and romantic. But no need to feel bad about it. You are simply on the aromantic spectrum. What is more, you have a special flag of your own under which to march. For those cynical viewers who feel that I must surely be making up such a thing, I give a link to the website for these people in the description to this video. The thumbnail shows a person proudly carrying the flag, which indicates allegiance to those with Aromantic Spectrum Disorder. Let me read out from the website a description of this syndrome. Aromanticism is a romantic orientation which describes people whose experience of romance is disconnected from normative societal expectations, often due to experiencing little to no romantic attraction, or sometimes feeling repulsed by romance or being uninterested in romantic relationships. You see, guys, all along some of you have been feeling bad, thinking perhaps that you're not new men because you've got no use for romance and just want to get down to business without any preliminaries. I bet many men have been victims of aromantic spectrum disorder for years and not even realised that their lack of interest in expensive candlelit dinners on Valentine's Day and all the rest of it was really a recognised syndrome which afflicts quite a few people. Anyway, from February the 19th to the 26th is Aromantic Spectrum Week, so make sure that you celebrate it in style. As the website tells us, Aromantic Spectrum Awareness Week is an annual international event meant to spread awareness and acceptance of aromantic spectrum identities and the issues we face, as well as making people more aware of our existence while celebrating it. I'm not quite sure how you would celebrate this event, unless it might be by trying to seduce a girl without making any pretense about having soppy feelings for her or something of that kind. But there we are. Stonewall is making heroic efforts to heighten our awareness of this condition and urges everybody to be as sympathetic as possible to those who suffer from it. Although I have myself in the past suffered from bouts of aromantic spectrum, I am bound to say that marriage cured me of it. Over the years, my wife has used a system very similar to aversion therapy, which ensures that I do not neglect anniversaries and so on, and I can honestly say that it is decades now since I felt any urge to dispense with romance. If I could offer any advice to folk who are in the grip of this distressing condition, it would be to acquire a husband or wife. they would soon find that any temptation to abandon romance would vanish like the morning dew.